and you will not be able to gain the right insights from the data available because either you don't have enough of it or the right amount of it or the right type of it, right? So this has to grow. I mean, there is no AI without data engineering.
What is the market size for data engineering, or you call it as big data, right? The volume,
Yeah.
veracity, and I think there are 3 V's to the big data. Right? So it is velocity, variety, and volume. 3 V's. When we have market size, or like the US $1 billion, if you're looking at it, it's about roughly $80 billion, and it is growing at a 15% CAGR year on year.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's saying that it's gonna reach up to 160 billion. That's almost doubling, right? I mean, double by 2029.
I think, I mean, of course, maybe these numbers on the AI side maybe
this is just
a
the
little
data
different and maybe
engineering
more.
part. I mean, what?
Yeah,
But health
correct.
tech,
Correct.
especially health tech, is almost 50% of it. So all the money that is coming on data engineering, 50% of it is spent on health tech.
I think, because the underlying data is the juice for all of these newer technologies to work on, it has to grow at the same speed or maybe even faster, right? Or else you will start to plateau at some stage if you don't have the right, volume, veracity, or variety of data, right? After a while, models will not be performing as well, right? And you will not be able to gain the right insights from the data available because either you don't have enough of it or the right amount of it or the right type of it, right? So this has to grow. I mean, there is no AI without data engineering, right? It's not sustainable.
I was just checking what was it, variety. So it is velocity, variety, and volume. 3 V's. It's huge data, and it is coming in heavy streams, live streaming, and I mean it's many things like that. And then it's not only just textual data, right? I mean there's data in various forms today, right? Now sticking to the healthcare part, there's a huge like we said, the data sources are coming from all these places or different touch points where the patient is coming in the hospital. So some data, we know that it is very structured data, right? I mean, the patient information, for example. It's a very structured information. We know that, okay, this is the patient, this is the age, this is the profile, this is the issue. And then there's this is more of structured and textual data. And then there's also a little unstructured data, which is something like discharge summaries. Like a person is discharged, then there's huge information written about what was the issue, what was the finding that they had, and what is the next follow-up, what are the medicines that they're prescribing to, and all that, which is a bit of unstructured data, like a huge 2-page essay where they have to report everything.
Yeah, more than unstructured, I would say it's ununderstandable for the common.
Also.
But yeah, because
prescriptions
it's highly
data, which is again sometimes it's handwritten, then that's digitized.
Yes.
And then you have now the MRIs, the X-rays. These are all getting digitized, right? I mean, you don't have to necessarily wait for the film copies or the MRIs to put up in a CD and then given. All the things now are available on cloud. You go to a big hospital today, you just go to this place where you do the test, and then it is directly sent on the doctor's mobile, right? And he can be wherever, and he can just comment and say, okay, this result is out and this is the issue, right? I mean, so when these things are getting digitized, how do we make sense of this data? Like, this is coming from various sources as well, right? The lab report is coming in a different format. There is the data coming from MRI and X-ray in imaging format. Now this may be used for further studies or these things like that. And then you have the textual data of the profile of the patient and things like that. So how do we make understanding of data coming from different sources?
Once we manage to sort of bring all of the data together into one place, right? It's like a medical fingerprint of the individual, right? So over a period of time, fluctuations in all of your metrics of your body and all of that, I think that would go on to be the baseline data for models, machine learning models that are built on top of it, right? So this data, to really make sense of it, in our medical ecosystem, researchers need to really get access to it, right? Because today countries like India and China and these bigger countries, the amount of per country would be a lot more, right? There's a vast amount of healthcare data available in the right way with anonymization and all that to university or research facilities, right? Where they could use this data with newer computing technologies to bring out prescriptive predictive models, right? So basically, because the onus of what data to pick and how this data will impact the health of the person, cannot be on the person itself, right? Like, we don't know what we should change to feel better or heal better, right? So of course, these access to all of this data on the education and research side. In fact, I would also fill in gaps where they say that based on their studies of the human body, these are the data points that are not available, right? It's more important for the industry to find out things about what's not available as well, because maybe that's a feature or data point that's very important to diagnose or prescribe a particular change in lifestyle or something, right? So I think fixing a lot of problems traditionally, like of course over the last 100 years through various different data engineering, traditional data engineering I would call it, would be like all of these. 100 years ago you probably had sheets with people writing all kinds of numbers and on the paper, and then you collect it across the hospital, and all of these documents are sent to the university. They hire first year students to basically probably to do research, to standardize the data, and then everyone else probably does their analysis on it, right? So but today we don't have that problem, right? And back then it was localized, like a hospital in the US could not get data from a hospital in Myanmar, Philippines, like on the other side of the world, right? But today data is virtual, so it can reside anywhere and be accessed by anyone if given the right access credentials, right? So this way we could really improve the output we get out of the data by giving access to researchers.